And I think it behooves us all to help those who are neurotypical to not overhelp, right? For instance, parents can be guilty of this, but so can well-intended friends. Recently I had back surgery. That's why for half a year, my podcast was down to every other week. And, I can't drive and hubby's got to work. So friend took me and thought nothing of walking right beside me into the appointment itself and taking over.
Wow.
And to the point where I'm like, it's my back that was broken, not my brain. I would not be here if I were not a good self-advocate in the medical space.
Yeah.
I can manage that just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But how often do well-meaning, well-intended, loving, neurotypical people do things like that because they don't understand the neurodivergence for what it is?
Yeah.
They don't see beyond, maybe I'm overgeneralizing, but I think a lot of people don't see beyond the label.
Yeah. I think, and their intentions may be good, but as you said, it may have the opposite effect that they're intending. So, yeah, I think just asking people, like, how can I support you at this appointment? Do you need my help? Maybe you don't, but in what cases do you need me to step in? Just asking. Yeah.
I have another dear friend who would go with her daughter to the appointments because of the knowledge of the working memory challenges and things like that. How did she phrase it? She was the interpreter, right? So she would interpret for the doctor. She would interpret the daughter's statements that maybe might seem out of context to someone neurotypical, right? Well, and let's face it, medical providers, their interactions are not typical either for a whole other reason.
Yeah.
So sometimes that interpretation is very important, but she would just take notes. She would sit not beside her daughter, but behind.
Yeah.
And take notes. And that way, the resource is there for the adult daughter to circle back to.
Yeah.
And it's especially important when your loved one is an adult and should have that autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. What type of support and how much support are two very important questions. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kudos to you for bringing that in to the conversation. So,
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about communication? We've been chatting for a while.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I think those are my main thoughts. We hit on the main topics. So yeah. Thank you for opening up this topic. I think it's a really good discussion and, exploration of how communication challenges and differences can manifest across different types of neurodivergence.